Hey everyone, Jalen here, bringing you another Women of Influence podcast. Welcome everyone. Today we have the wonderful and amazing Dr. Lulu. Thank you for coming, Dr. Lulu.
Thank you so much, Jalen.
It's
nice
a pleasure
to be here.
Have you. Nice to meet you on here. It's a pleasure to have you. So I know that you and I met in Miami at the Great American Speak Off in the hotel lobby, and we struck up quite a conversation. I was so impressed by you and what you do. So you have a coaching program, and you talk specifically, to my understanding, to parents of LGBTQ children. So I think that is wonderful and such a needed service. Can you tell us more about what you do and how you got into this?
Well, I'm a life coach, so hopefully that helps. My name is Dr. Lulu. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I'm a life coach for parents, specifically of LGBTQ plus kids, particularly Black parents of trans kids, which is what I am, specifically speaking. But I'm a general pediatrician, so I'm a general life coach as well. So I can work with pretty much anyone, whether you're a parent or not, whether you're a queer person or not. But my special tribe of humans are parents of queer kids who want to support their kids. Because, like a friend asked me a while back, so what about people who don't want to support their kids? We do not care. I don't want to talk to them. Everyone, there are 8 billion people on this earth, and everyone is not my client. Only those who want to support their kids. So it's even nichier than, it's even smaller. I just don't have the bandwidth, nor the strength, nor the energy to try to convince someone who is a parent of a child who doesn't want to support their child.
Exactly. They're just not your people.
Yeah,
right?
They're not my people. And I don't know whose people they are, but they're definitely not my people. And you know what? That's okay.
Yes.
So I'm a Nigerian born. I like to say I was born, bred, buttered, and slightly burned in Nigeria, which is one of the most homophobic countries in the world. And I happen to be Catholic. I'm a cradle Catholic. My uncle is a bishop or cardinal or something high up there at this point. And so I have regular parents who were just as homophobic as every other Nigerian. And then I came along and I told my dad when I was 16 that I also like girls as well as boys, so just FYI.
Surprise.
And he didn't do the unthinkable, which is what most fathers would do, like, I don't know, banish you from the house or tell you not to talk about it again. He just said, I think it's a phase. I think it's going to pass. And I say that with my, the Nigerians say, with my chest, because my father is from a different generation altogether. And parents, just by nature of the beast, you only know as much as you know. And so if you don't know what you don't know, and if you are open to learning, then great, you will learn. But otherwise, you don't. So my dad, all he knew at that point was, like many parents, even in today's world, they think it's a phase. And then it's not a phase, So I grew up thinking it was a phase, like my father said, because that's what kids do. They believe their parents. But I happen to be bisexual, which I can easily go underground as a regular heterosexual person and pretend I'm not who I am. But I'm not that kind of person. So once I discovered that I'm bisexual and I prefer the word queer, I'm like, okay, I'm going to be who I am with no apologies because I haven't done anything wrong. And then my child came along and I was like, wait, what? God, what are you doing? Like, what kind of sense of humor is this? Why me? Why should my child be anything but straight? And God was like, well, I know you're worried about your child being gay, and I hear you and I get it, but I have a surprise for you. I'm like, what? And he's like, oh, your child is actually transgender. I'm like, no. So like most parents, I was in shock. I was unhappy. I was afraid. I was even ashamed. I felt guilty that maybe I did something wrong. My ex-husband to this day insists that I made the child gay,
Oh my
which is
gosh.
funny because we've got two other kids. I'm like, wait, what about those two? I mean, why didn't I make those two gay? But ignorance is a bad disease, and the only thing I know that can beat ignorance is the truth. And so I decided, you know what, I want to be in my child's life, and that's all there is to it. But as a pediatrician, I realized that if I will struggle with just the journey of accepting, and what I like to say is accepting myself, because a lot of the problem is not accepting your kid. That's what people think. Is really accepting yourself. If you do not accept yourself as a parent of a queer child, you can forget about trying to accept your child, because that's the next level up. And unfortunately, if you don't accept yourself, your child knows that. And, just like you want to hide, your child also wants to hide. Unfortunately for the parents, that's not going to last very long, because your child cannot unmake themselves. They cannot unbecome who they are. They cannot unfulfill their destiny. So your
Right.
job as a parent is to accept your kid. I mean, really, truly. Not because you fully understand, because a lot of times the kids don't even understand themselves, how or why or what, but they can't change it. So I tell parents, the job is not for you to say, oh, but I don't understand, because you as a parent, you support a lot of things that you don't understand. I mean, your friends who are marrying, it's like, I don't know why, I don't know. Angela wants to marry that guy. I don't know what she sees in him, but I'll go to the wedding, right? Or I don't understand why Jalen wants to move to Sacramento, but hey, I'll go visit. The truth is, as adults, we do a lot of things that we support, a lot of things that we don't understand. But when it comes to our children, we think we can control our children. And because of that, we dig our heels in and insist on understanding first.
Right. Yeah, that's so good. Well, first and foremost, I think that took a lot of courage and bravery for you to come out to your father, knowing the possible ramifications, right? So good for you for having the courage and bravery to do so. And, one of the most common misconceptions that you were talking about was how parents think that it's just a phase that you're going through. Like, what are some of the other common misunderstandings or misconceptions out there about, their LGBTQ children?
Actually, I have a book coming up that's got, I think we're at 65 at this point. MMMs, Myths, Mistakes, and Misconceptions. I even teach a class every Friday at noon Central that is titled Top 3 Mistakes Parents Make. So there are multiple. The very first one is a phase, and I use that all the time because my dad used that. So that's fairly common. The second one, it's a choice. It's a lifestyle choice. Well, I'll tell you what's a choice. Wearing a hat is a choice. Wearing a sweater is a choice. Having a crew cut is a choice. Having a mohawk is a choice. Having blue eyes is not a choice. If you buy contacts, then maybe it's a choice. Being gay is not a choice. Is as much a choice as being Black is a choice. Is as much a choice as being straight is a choice. And so when people ask me, when people go in that direction, I'm very quick to ask them, when did you decide to become straight? I want to know the age you chose to be straight.
That's great.
Yeah, because you have to kind of match people's energies with their energies. If somebody's talking at that level, you have to stoop down to that level and ask them, when did you decide to be straight? If you didn't decide, then why should your child decide? That puts it in their face, and that's my style. I've always been a direct person. I don't know how to tell you your breath stinks. I just don't know nice ways to say that. So I just come out and tell you. So the second one is people think it's a choice. The third one, which is more parent-centered, is parents think it's their fault. My ex-husband still thinks it's my fault that I did something. A lot of parents go back and say, well, maybe because my brother is gay, that's why my child is gay, so I somehow have something to do with it. Or maybe, I don't know, because I'm a single mom, that's why, or I'm a single dad, that's why, or I wasn't hard enough. I didn't let him do karate, or I didn't let him play soccer or football. I didn't toughen him enough. We have all these things, Or then another one is people think it's sexual assault. The truth is, if you look at the numbers, more heterosexuals are victims of sexual assault than non-heterosexuals, which is my choice. I don't use the word homosexuals ever. So more heterosexuals are victims of sexual assault because of the number ratio. There are more heterosexuals, period. So they have more sexual assaults. Therefore, if sexual assault was the problem, then we should have no heterosexuals at all. They should all be gay, and vice versa. So many people think it's sexual assault. A lot of people think it's a mental illness. They think the child is mentally ill somehow. They're not. Their brain faculty is not working very well. It's got to be something that the doctor can fix, go get some medication to un-gay you,
Oh my
which is
goodness.
crazy, but it's true.
That
A
is
lot of people
crazy.
think, a lot of people think gay parents produce gay children, but the truth is enough straight parents produce gay children. So again, that's a misconception. Some people think it's their friends, it's because you're hanging out with such and such. That's why. And to that, I always say, well, if hanging out with gay people make people gay, then naturally you know where I'm going with this. Then let's all hang out with straight people so we can all become straight. So I think a lot of times obviously, as you said, there are misconceptions or myths or good old-fashioned mistakes. So I could go on and on and on. They blame social media for their children being gay. It's all the social media. And to that and the friend theory, I always say, you know what? Water always finds its level. So is your child hanging out with gay kids because your child is in fact gay and therefore found their tribe? Or is it because social media is available so your child can find groups in social media, virtual groups where they can be themselves? Either way, if you lock your child up in a room for 30 years and your child is gay, the day you open the door, a gay 30-year-old is going to come out. So I want people to just go back and ask themselves, the more important question is why you feel a need to explain it out. You never have to explain your straight child. So why do parents feel a need to explain their not straight kids? Why? So ultimately, it's always based on fear.
Yes,
Fear of
absolutely.
the unknown, fear of what your friends are going to say, fear of what your church is going to say, fear of what your parents and your cousins and your Shaniqua and Baniqua is going to say. Unfortunately, while you're busy being afraid and making it about you, your child is left alone, not being affirmed and not being supported. And so
That
then
is
there's no
so,
surprise that there's a high suicide rate.
oh my gosh, that is so, so powerful. I have personal experience. I have, out of my three daughters, two of them are transgender. And my eldest, she had the courage to come out to me when she was 15 years old. And it started out, she said, "Mom, I'm gay." And I was like, "Okay, cool. I think your boyfriend, Jacob, he's amazing. So, thanks for telling me." And she had the courage. And then a couple of years later, she's like, "Actually, I'm not gay, I'm transgender, but it was easier to come out as gay because, you know, back then it was like way newer than it is today. And like there was a lot of misunderstanding. So I took it upon myself to go out there and try and understand. I went and met with a transgender lady and I asked her, about what it was like for her, like when she came out. And so yeah, I do know that there is, I think I love that we're having this conversation right now and putting it out there because there are a lot of ignorant people out there, a lot of ignorance. And so the more that we can help educate people, the better. And then my youngest transgender, she identifies herself as non-binary. And that's a new phrase that's out there. Can you explain to our audience what that means?
So we'll go back a little bit. I like what you said about it's easier because it's like the better of two evils, the rock or the hard place. The word gay is more in the I guess it's more in the mainstream vocabulary and lingo. My eldest kid also came out as gay first, and I don't like to use the word come out, but people use come out. I like to use invited in. So my child invited me into their queer world, into their gay world, into their non-binary world, and I say that because my latest TEDx talk is actually titled Inviting In versus Coming Out, Rethinking the Closet. So I say that because the whole concept of coming out, studies have shown that there are two peak periods of suicidal behavior in queer youth. When they first realize that they're indeed queer or gay or non-binary or transgender, whatever, when they first realize it themselves, and when they share with their family members. So I use words like share, invite in, explain, inform, versus coming out. And if you listen to my TED Talk, you hear why I say that, because coming out is really a phrase that I say for coming out of depression, or coming out of a bad relationship, or coming out of a bad marriage, or coming out of, toxic, I don't know, life. So why are queer people placed in that category? I don't know. So I want to change that narrative. So it makes sense that they want to share about being gay first, because gay is kind of like an easier, softer landing. So my own child went from gay to non-binary and then to transgender. A lot of parents would tell you that. For me, I was like, wait, I thought you were just gay. What is this non-binary stuff? And then after about 2 years, we're like, well, Mom, actually, I'm transgender. Because of the fact that it's harder for parents to understand transgender, unfortunately for the children. So the concept of binariness is that there's only male or female, or only men or women, or only man or woman. That's the binary gender ideology, which was pushed by cis heterosexual white people. I don't mince words in my word. I just tell it like it is. So cis heterosexual white people pushed this concept of male or female, and that's it. But if you go back to as early as the days of the Bible, we had eunuchs, we had people who had no gender, who were neither male nor female. We've had cross-dressers from way, way, way back. If you go back into the past, we've had people who were called transsexuals then. We call them he, she's then. So this is not a new thing at all. However, it's easier for some people who feel threatened to say, no, it's only male or female. That's it. God only created Adam and Eve and all that BS that people float around. However, as a physician, I happen to know that I have delivered babies myself who had both male and female genitalia. So at least we know for sure that it's not only male or female. We know for sure that you can have both. And therefore, if you can have both, you can also have neither. And so the non-binary people will prefer to not identify either with male or female. The thing about it is the pushback from the general population, the general society is that, well, why should they say that they're neither male nor female? They need to pick one. And I ask them, for one, I wake up every day as a woman. I go to bed every night as a woman, right? I cannot tell someone who is a man that I know how they wake up in the morning. So gender identity is how an individual sees themselves, how they self-identify. So it's not for anybody else. There's no one else that can tell me that I'm not a woman because I wake up as a woman. And likewise, I cannot tell someone who is a man or non-binary or bigender or whatever, two-spirit, I can't tell them that they're not how they see themselves. And so the concept of non-binary is a person who is neither identifying as male or female. Some of them will say sometimes for the gender fluid people, they sometimes identify, sometimes more as males, sometimes more as females. I am not non-binary. I'm not going to sit here and tell you everything about non-binary. That's for a non-binary person to tell. And I like that position. And I love it because I, again, like I said, cannot understand what I'm not. So I'll tell you as much as I get. And then I let it go because it doesn't matter in the end. I ask my parents who dig their heels in, if the doctor said your child needs emergency heart surgery tonight, will their gender matter?
No.
Will their sexuality matter? If the answer is anything but yes, then why does it matter at any other time? And so we have to be about being grown-ups already and stop acting like teenagers or toddlers with temper tantrums. Oh my God, I don't know what it is. And therefore, really? You hear yourself?
Right. It's ridiculous, isn't it? I like what you were saying earlier about how it's not our job or our responsibility. It's not about us to understand. It's not about our understanding. It's about us supporting that person, right? Regardless if we understand it or not, because most people don't.
I'm saying that even the non-binary persons, they have to get to the point where they've come to the realization. We had a 91-year-old gentleman, I think he was 91 or 71, who eventually, I think it was last year, came out, since people want to use that phrase, as at 71 or I think 91. And that was when it hit him that that's who he was, or that's when he felt comfortable enough to tell people. Either way, I think we just spend so much energy and so much bandwidth worrying about someone is going to go to hell or they're not. Worry about yourself.
Exactly.
Literally, worry about yourself.
Exactly.
Yes.
Dr. Lulu, can you hold up your book again so we can see it?
Okay, so this one is called Invited In.
Invited In.
And what you can see is where it says how to become the parent your LGBTQ child needs.
Okay. And how do we find that book?
So right now the book is not out yet. It
Oh.
is, however, cooking. So I'm accepting. We have a bunch of people who have been pre-ordering, and I can put the link in the chat. I don't know if I put the link, will you be able to see that?
So I can modify the banner here. Let me see here. Comments.
I think comments.
Yes. Go ahead and drop it in there, and then I will add it to the banner so everybody can see it.
Yes. Thank you so much. So it's on my website. Basically, it's actually pretty simple. It's on my website / invited in.
drlulu.com
/ invited in. Invited -in. So I put that in the comment for you.
Okay.
So that's where you can pre-order the book. It should have dropped on the 31st of December.
Ooh.
But heaven knows I've been going everywhere, doing everything. And so it's going to be out for the month of March, mainly because I also have my retreat coming up. I have my birthday coming up. Everything is happening in the month of March. So the book might as well join the bandwagon. So I'm excited.
So I'm not sure if I'm supposed to ask you about this or talk about it, but speaking of your retreat, do you have openings? And if so, can you tell us about your retreat? It sounds amazing. I already know about it.
No, you can ask me. Really, I think I don't think I've been on quite a bunch of podcasts in my time, and I don't think I've ever found a topic that I didn't want to be asked. Even the fact that I have an ex-husband and an ex-wife, I'm like, I could talk about it as long as I haven't done anything wrong. I haven't broken any rules. I haven't committed a crime. I'm going to talk about it. I'm not a prisoner of anything that has happened to me, because all the things that happened to me brought me to where I am today, right now. So everything has been perfect, both the good and the bad and the ugly. So it's my first retreat. I'm really excited. I hope you do come. It is for parents of LGBTQ plus kids who may or may not be struggling with just the process of understanding what's going on with their kids. My job is to create a safe space for them. So the retreat is a safe space for them to come and exhale. So it's a self-love retreat, and it's for them to come and exhale and just be with 6 other parents who also want to spoil themselves a little bit, want to take a load off. We have enough going on in our lives with one queer child, one transgender child, maybe 2. It's so much so that from time to time we need to take a break. And one thing that parents do not do very well is take a break for ourselves. We will do anything for our kids before we take a break for ourselves. So my prayer is that I can find 7 parents out there, which I know I will. I've already gotten three parents that will want to come and just relax. We're going to have sunrise yoga on, well, actually on the first day we're picking them up on the airport with the limousine, and then we're going to have a West African themed spread for welcome dinner, and then we have sunrise yoga at 6 a.m. in the morning the next morning, and then we're going to go, I think we're having a photo shoot, an African themed photo shoot, all expenses paid as far as the activities and the place you're going to stay, and the food, and of course alcohol is never an expense that is paid, because I'm not going to have you come drink on my dollar and then maybe lose it. So for that you pay for yourself, but your flights, you cover that, your drinks and maybe your tips, you cover that. Otherwise everything else is on me: the location, the transportation, the activities, the food, the snacks, the photographer. We're having someone follow us literally for the 4 days and 3 nights. We're having videographers. Then we're having, I think one of the mornings we have massage, and then you have an option to upgrade to a mani-pedi if you want. Otherwise, just get your massage, relax. And then during the photo shoot, we have a live saxophonist going to be playing love songs. Ooh. As you sashay with your African outfit and take a photo shoot. And somebody asked me, why African outfit? And I said, why not? I'm African. I don't know any non-African who would have an African themed photo shoot. So it's like a no-brainer. I can always do, I was going to have a boudoir photo shoot. Ooh. But I thought, what? Boudoir is good, but some people are, self-conscious. Let's have an African photo shoot already. So we're going to do that. And then we're going to go downtown and check out the sights of San Antonio, check out the River Walk. And then we're having dinner at this posh restaurant. There's a revolving restaurant. So you look up from your salmon and you have a different part of the city. You look up from your steak and you have a different part of the city. So I'm just excited about all of it. And then one day we're having a healing circle, so people can just come together, cry, laugh, hug each other, just be with like minds. We're going to have group coaching. Yes, ma'am. We're going to have group coaching. We're going to have one-on-one coaching. We're going to have just, if I wasn't the one curating the retreat, I'll be like, oh my God, I want to
sign me up.
Yes, sign me up, because we don't know, nobody's promised tomorrow. And I know that if you ask your children, they will say, Mom, you should go. Don't even think about it. Go. Because we have a very stressful life. Parents have a very stressful life, but we don't like to stop and say to ourselves, let me spoil myself. So this is for 7 parents who want to come and actually say, you know what? Yes, I deserve it. Yes, I deserve to spoil myself. Or maybe my husband spoiled me. I don't know. But yes. I'm excited. I'm really excited about it.
That is so fabulous. Everybody, I encourage you to reach out to Dr. Lulu. Go to her website. Everything's scrolling.
Yes.
Follow her on her social media. Look at that cute little journal. I still need to pay you for that, by the way.
Yes, that's true. That's true. Tonight. It's going to happen tonight.
Yeah, send me that. Send me that journal.
So the journal is again, it's a self-love journal. It comes with, these are my brand colors: the sunflower yellow, the teal. It comes with a 30-day prompt for, just 30 days of why you should love yourself. One of my friends called me today and said, guess what? I'm on day 9. I'm like, what? So she's on day 9. So there's a prompt there. Otherwise, the pages basically tell you today, let me see, it's backwards. Today, I love myself because. And so it's for you to find reasons to love yourself. Reasons to love yourself.
That is so powerful. I think we all need to love ourselves way more than we do right now, for sure, 100%. Yes. Well, Dr. Lulu, thank you so very much. It's been such a pleasure and an honor speaking with you today, and I look forward to seeing you again. All right, everybody, reach out to Dr. Lulu. She's amazing. Y'all have a great day.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
Much. Mwah. Same here.